Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the latest installment of your favorite podcast, The Catchup. I want to take a little second to remind you guys that this is a beautiful, beautiful experiment that we are putting on, and we're doing it for you guys, okay? My name is Andrew, and Daniel's my partner. Say what's up, dog.
What's up, dog?
Man, the guy does it just like you asked him to. We are the heads of Pledge to Fitness here in Bellaire, Texas. Pledge to Fitness is a all-in-one shop for everything wellness, personal training, nutrition coaching, mobility, stretch, and all that lifestyle that makes you feel positive and happy in between. Mm-hmm. That's what we do here. We do it all. And that's kind of what gives us at least a base level of
credibility.
Credibility. We're always looking for that credibility, okay? So that people think we're credible, and you might listen to our advice. Hey, don't think we're credible? Call us. Anyway, so Pledge to Fitness, this is the Catchup, and if you like what you hear today, go on YouTube, go on any of the other channels that we're on, and let us know. Let us know what you liked, what you want some more of. If you don't like something, write us. Write us at info@pledgetofitness.com. Again, that is info as in information at pledgetofitness.com. Tell us what you'd like to hear, okay? Because we're doing it for you. We're not doing it for anybody else. Find us on Instagram at pledgetofitness. Find us on Facebook facebook.com/pledgetofitness. Okay, welcome back. You're here with Andrew and Daniel on the Catchup, and we're going to talk to you a bit about our favorite subjects. We got fitness, we got business, and yes, some pop culture for you today. We have some things that we've been talking about since the beginning of this podcast. That's right, one episode ago, and we're going to follow up on those things today. Okay, first off, we're going to talk about fitness because it is what we know. We're licensed to give you some good old advice and opinions on this. And today we have a really interesting topic, which is the fittest woman in the world. Why is she the fittest woman in the world? And what is she doing to be the fittest woman in the world? So we're talking about the winner of the CrossFit Games. And I'll have Carlos pull me up her name. But she is the winner of the CrossFit Games. She is a fabulously fit woman. If you are not familiar with CrossFit, is a style of timed Olympic lifting, Olympic in quotes there, where you are, it's a type of lifting where you're doing explosive moves, you're doing a lot of compound movements, meaning you're using a lot of movements at the same time, you're squatting, you're pressing, you're cleaning, you're doing power in a timed circuit, okay? And
her name is Tia Claire.
Tia Claire, is that T-H-E-A?
Toomey.
T-I-A, Claire, C-A-C-L-A-I-R.
So Tia, like my tia from Venezuela, and Claire, like you should take your kids to Claire's. Tia Claire.
And Toomey.
Toomey last name.
Last name is Toomey?
So she's got two first names.
Tia Claire Toomey.
With a hyphen.
Tia Claire Toomey, you heard it here first. If you are interested, as many people who walk through these doors are, in what is it that you have to do to be at the top of your physical game, let's just take a second here to remind everybody that Daniel and I have worked in many different fitness locations, be it people's homes, the studio that we're in right now, or when we worked at the largest independent facility in the United States here in Houston, Texas, where you have about 70 trainers, and you can really meet a lot of fit people at once, not just the trainers, but the clients, right?
Correct.
And Daniel, what is the overarching reality when you are talking about really fit people and what they're eating?
What they're eating?
How much? What?
They're eating a lot. I remember when you and I
stacking.
were first trying to do, or like Jose,
Yeah.
when we were trying to do the
One of our old
bodybuilding
team
competitions,
members. Yes.
and you guys were telling us and trying to train us on what to eat, and it was like, God, man, like, I don't know, 3,500 calories or something?
Correct. And it was counterintuitive, wasn't it? Right? You think you're trying to lean out.
Right.
And you're a pretty lean dude as it is, but it was weird, I think, for you to say, I got to lean out further, and what I have to do is eat literally twice what I've been eating, maybe a little bit more than what I've been eating all my life.
Yeah. And then the other really counterintuitive part was the more I ate, and I noticed this also with Jose, the hungrier we got.
Yes, and that's that metabolic adaptation.
Yeah.
Right? So your body, as you feed it more, as you ask it to do more, it's going to adapt. It's going to actually go with a nice little piece of 7th grade biology that all of us, including people in the field, like to forget, which is the SAID principle, steady adaptation to imposed demands. Okay,
That's
your
right.
body, if you're a biological organism, in general pop here, okay, yes, there are some, freaks in a nice way out there, but if you're a general pop person and you are putting new workout demands and new nutritional demands on your body, it's going to adapt for better or for worse. So if it's in a anabolic building state, we're doing a lot of movement, we're doing a lot of work, and we're eating a lot to supplement and build back what we've burnt. You're gonna be in that state, and that's gonna be what your body's gonna get adapted to and follow. If you are thinking that, I need to eat 600 calories because I have 100 pounds to lose in the next 6 months, so I'm going to eat an apple and, I don't know, a few lettuce a day, then your body's going to adapt to that too, and it's going to turn into that nice starvation mode that we see a lot of people who walk through the doors at first come into. The story we've heard before. I've been doing everything. I don't eat anything. I eat very little. I eat once a day. I don't know what to do. My physique is nothing like it was when I was 20. All of a sudden now I'm 40. I don't know what to do. And we're like, well, actually, what you should do is start behaving like you think you would if you were 20 still, right? How you behave is what your body will adapt to.
That's correct.
Okay.
And so what was this Tia chick doing?
Everything from the physique to the work capacities of these different type of elite athletes is that they're never hungry because they're eating every few hours and they're eating quite a bit. Okay?
So they don't give themselves a chance to get hungry.
Correct. Because if you're giving yourself the chance to get hungry, you've already missed the window.
Yeah.
Right? The idea is to stay ahead of it. Similar to the idea of not letting your car go all the way to empty. Right?
That makes sense.
There are things that you are not even thinking about, even with your car, where gas has added weight, which means added center of mass, which means that the car behaves differently when it has gas in it versus when it doesn't. And the engine operates more efficiently when there's more gas in the car than when it doesn't. A bit of a car buff here, so I think we both are. So there you might get some technical know-how as you move forward, but it's the same thing for humans. If you're constantly in that low starvation area, your body doesn't know what to expect, it doesn't know how to appropriate the funds that you're giving it, it's going to go ahead and prepare for the worst, right? So somebody like Tia is eating pretty consistently, pretty constantly. Yes, the quality's high, okay? It's not Snickers. Yeah. It's not Coke. It's high quality, high nutrient density food, okay? So whole foods, whole grains, and of course the things that you take in on the side, supplements, high level, high quality shakes, high quality snacks, bars, whatever you can think of, those do apply. Okay, so you don't have to be Tia to have a supplement in your life, but you do want to stick to the idea of a lot of food, a lot of movement, a lot of quality.
Yep.
Okay, so just like she is, you should be too. And that's what we've seen every big hoss and big hossette do since we've been in this industry, is eat a lot, move a lot, and crush it, okay? And if you catch the CrossFit Games, go ahead and open that, and it will teach some of y'all what actual work looks like. Do you have to be at that level to see changes? No. But is there a capacity that your body can work at that you might not even be aware of is possible? Yes, definitely. I've seen it, Daniel's seen it, and most of our clients do too here. Yes, it is fun. There is a fun way to do this stuff. There is an easier, more progressive way to do this stuff. But at the end of the day, you're doing the stuff. You're working. You're eating consciously, and you're being mindful about your behaviors in general. Which is why this stuff affects people so well across the board, I think, right?
I think so, absolutely. Yeah, this right here, she's talking about how she constantly is keeping food on her, so that she's always fueled, and it's before and immediately after her workouts. So, like we were saying earlier, she never gives her a chance to. She doesn't give her body a chance to get hungry.
Yeah, the second that it would start happening, she'd already be on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we try to get people to do. Create environments. I think what you just said is very crucial. You're creating your environment. So, for example, if you work in an office and you don't have anything in the fridge and you don't have anything in your pack and you don't or your backpack or don't even keep healthy food at home, the chances of you having healthy snacks throughout your day at your workplace is nil. It's none. Love, as the British would say, as the British tennis players would say. You really need to create that environment. There's a great coach out in Costa Rica. His name is Ben House. And I do follow him on a few different platforms, and he made such a good point, and I think it encapsulates what we're talking about. You know, he lives in Costa Rica. So it's you know, it's not, the Equinox isn't down the street, right? So he lives in Costa Rica. He has he has his community down there of people who work out with him, train with him. His family, his wife is somebody who trains. She is not a trainer, but she is somebody who trains. And I mean, they just had a baby, and they're even bringing that lifestyle to him, right?
Right.
Like the way that they feed him and such. But he said in a recent post, he said, if my wife just had a baby. I am tired as hell. We have 3 retreats coming. I have already been working pretty consistently for the last 8 years. So it would be very easy for me to say, yeah, I've put in the work. I'm going to take a day off, right? He goes, if it wasn't for the fact that we built a a facility, basically, it's, I mean, it's everything you could possibly need in your backyard. If it wasn't for the fact that we built that in our backyard, that Vincent, my friend, was on his way, and he says, okay, gonna go get those legs, right? Because if it wasn't for the fact that my wife was, even though she would love the help, she knows that if I don't do what I need to do, it's gonna change how I behave, right?
Right.
There wasn't an environment of people, facilities, Costa Rican bananas hanging outside on his banana trees. It wouldn't be as easy for him to live the life that he does and stick to the regimens.
Right.
So our advice to you, since we're here and we are a fitness company, is to create environments that will behoove you over time, that will build your good habits, that will make it harder for you to say, it's Tuesday, I'm tired. And follow through in reasonable ways. And don't let yourself get to the place where you make bad decisions. Like, I'm really hungry in the middle of a grocery store filled with all the treats. Get ready. Be preemptive. How about that? Be preemptive.
And I think another really easy one is, on top of building your environment, your internal environment, your psychology.
Ooh,
one of the things
yes.
that Tia, or Claire, whatever her name is, she keeps
Toomey.
referring to it as fuel.
Yes.
So not food, because
Ooh.
food is sort of just very generic, like it just keeps you alive.
Preach.
But fuel is like, you put fuel in jet planes. You don't
Yes.
just put gas in
Yes.
jet planes, right? You put fuel because it implies that, like, it's powerful and it's good and it's quality and it's gonna do the job that you're intending. So
Be a
shaping
be a
your
Ferrari,
psychology.
not a
Yeah.
Prius. Be a Ferrari, not be a Porsche, not a minivan. Correct? Yeah, I totally agree with that. You really do have to go from the inside out.
Yep.
And create those environments. Absolutely. So hopefully that brings you some helpful advice this week. Hopefully that puts you into a different mindset when you're thinking about fitness and you're thinking about whether you're going to negate and starvate or if you're going to increase and beast it up, right? That's really what you're trying to do. Fitness. What a great topic. Okay, beautiful stuff there. Let's move on to our business segment. Business is one of our favorite things to talk about. I mean, we do it even when we're not on this pod, believe it or not. Daniel and I have been running this company for about 5 years now, and we've made amazing strides, and we've had huge gaps, and we've worked with great people, and we've worked with difficult people. And so, it's natural for us to talk about it. And the last time that we were here together, sipping on some healthy beer, and discussing topics like two guys sipping healthy beer, we were talking about Chick Fil A, which is one of our brand idols, I think is maybe the way to say it, right?
Yeah.
The service is our idol. We received some reader comments. We actually got some fans now, guys. Okay, we do have fans. Believe it or not, you're not the only one. There is a community of you guys out there, and we will build it as we go forward. But we got some reader comments, and they said, "Oh, I hate Chick Fil A. I don't like their public policies and the way that they donate their proceeds." And let me tell you that when we say they're our brand idol, we're not referring to that. Okay, the reality is, I tend to say, do what you want, whoever you are, right? I think we tend to say that.
Right.
Do what you want, as long as you're not hurting people, which can be debatable in certain cases. When you're talking about Chick Fil A, it's okay to be pissed at Chick, but don't be pissed at their systems, because good gosh, those chickens are delicious, and that service is fast.
Yep.
That service is fast. So we were talking last week or 2 weeks ago, I was out with the flu last week. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But 2 weeks ago, we were talking about Chick Fil A startup costs. The franchise fee being $10,000. $10K.
Yep.
To get yourself a Chick Fil A, right? And that's kind of how the news is spreading on the Ethernet. But what does that really mean, right? Yes, it's $10K to get that franchise fee, but why would it be only $10K, and why would McDonald's be $100K when Chick Fil A will get you $4.4 mil a year on average, and a McDonald's will get you only $2 mil a year on average? Huge numbers, which are easy to mystify the true information. Daniel, what do you got on that? I know you were reading up on it.
And I kind of stumbled across it because I wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't looking for it. I just stumbled across it.
You're just accidentally brilliant.
Yeah, I was reading Reddit and all the different funny stuff and
Which, by the way,
business
thank you for
stuff and
putting me on
whatever.
Reddit. That is incredible.
Reddit is really great.
Holy crap.
It's really great. It's
what
anything.
are you guys doing if you're not?
So the difference between Chick Fil A and all the other fast food franchises is that with the other fast food franchises, you own the franchise. You own everything.
There's the fine print.
So you have to put more money down, but that's because it belongs to you. The real estate belongs to you. The cooking equipment belongs to you. Those are your employees. That is your money. You have to pay a royalty, but then whatever is left over, that is your net, assuming that you have something left over. Chick Fil A, however, it's only 10 grand because you're basically paying 10 grand to allow them to interview you.
Okay,
To
I
then,
like this already.
To then and then the next step is they interview and they say, yes, you're a good candidate. We will allow you to be a manager at one of our Chick Fil A's. So then you put in 10 grand. They build you a Chick Fil A. They tell you how to run it. They teach you how to hire people, and then you start running that Chick Fil A. But you don't own the building. You don't own the land. You don't own the equipment. You don't own the employees. You don't own anything. You just own that position to work at that Chick Fil A, and it's a high salary job. You're making around anywhere between $250,000 and $350,000. But yeah, it's making 4 point whatever million a year, but you're not making 4 point million a year.
And
Chick Fil A corporate, Chick Fil A franchise, the Z or the one who's providing the franchise is the one who's making the money.
Very, very interesting. So you heard it here first. Yes, it is incredibly lucrative to have a Chick Fil A operating.
If you are Chick Fil A,
yeah. If you are Chick Fil A, is it incredibly lucrative for you? Yeah, of course it's lucrative, but it's not incredibly lucrative. It's not the numbers that you might be seeing out there.
Yeah.
They also tell you where you put their Chick Fil A.
Oh, there you go.
So they might tell you to move as well.
Absolutely. They control everything. You're just a manager. That's
They're
all
even,
it is.
And what Carlos said there is you're even getting the location of where you're going to put that is not really up to you.
And you legally can't say that you own that Chick Fil A because you don't.
Interesting.
You don't own anything. You own a position.
And that's interesting. So I look at that and I say the two things that come to mind is number one, a Walmart manager, a Walmart store manager makes $150K. Okay, so and the risk is not on him, correct?
Correct.
That's what's magical about going and getting that position. Is
Right.
that that's like saying, okay, I'm going to make $150K instead of $250K, but obviously there's not all this insane amount of buy-in, right? No, you don't have to pay $10K to go be a Walmart manager.
Right.
On the other hand, you are it's a nice little bit of limited risk, right? If I'm making a McDonald's, I'm owning the equipment and I'm owning the place and I'm owning the blah. Well, we're in Houston, so immediately I think of, well, if that place floods, that's on me. If the equipment floods, that's on me. Those are things that you have to think about. It might be that if I'm a very, very wealthy man, right, and I'm sitting on a bunch of this money, and I say, what am I going to do with this? And you have the back end, which means, to even qualify, besides the fact that getting into that circuit and owning a Chick Fil A, as we said in our first pod, is 50 times more difficult than getting into Harvard.
Yeah.
It's tough. You need to remember, is that your only location? Is that what you're doing exclusively? If I were a person with a lot of money and I really wanted to limit my risk and my involvement, and I say I'm not in the business of real estate nor cooking equipment, I just want that. Of that $250, I'm gonna keep $100K a year, and I'm gonna pay that manager that $150, just like they're doing at Walmart. That makes more sense to me, right?
Right.
The back end there that I was referring to is that to even qualify to actually rent yourself a Chick Fil A, you need to have $500,000 of net worth. You need to have I think it's more than that. There's a certain amount that you need to have liquid.
Correct.
So I believe you have to have about 500 liquid. Your net worth is higher than that. Your net worth is over $1 million. And if that's one of the things that people really like to.
And hold on, to clarify,
Go for it.
for
Clarify.
Chick Fil A,
Okay.
they don't care what your net worth is. They do not. For all these other ones, for example, here's a list. So for Wendy's, they require you to have $5 million of liquid assets.
Really?
Right?
Wow.
And then it drops significantly down to Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box, Taco Bell, KFC, Burger King, and Church's, you need 1.5 mil. Sonic, I don't know what Bojangles is. Carl's Jr., Arby's,
You ain't had Bojangles?
and Popeyes, they're 1 million. And then you got Dairy Queen, Pizza Hut, McDonald's, which McDonald's is very surprising to me. It's only 500,000.
And these are net worth, right?
You need a net worth. Absolutely. You need if you need to go and liquefy everything, all your assets, so you can have cash.
Juice it.
Exactly. You need to be able to produce $500,000 in cash for McDonald's in order for them to give you the right to franchise.
Fair. So I have kept this alive a little bit longer because we will find out about that liquid number versus net worth number. And for those of you that don't know, there's a big difference between what you have liquid and what your net worth is.
Oh yeah.
My net worth is much better. Now, mind you, we're 30 and we're doing what we're doing, but thankfully the net worth looks good. But yeah, what's liquid? Maybe not as hot as I'd like it to be, right? Us young guns, us rebel rousers, we're working on it. We're working on it, y'all. Carl's just throwing a white towel in the air because it ain't easy, y'all. It makes you want to survive and sometimes surrender, but none of that around here. So.
Yep.
That's our Chick Fil A stuff, okay? And again, we'll keep you updated on those things because a lot of our clients are self-employed. They are entrepreneurs. I think people attract what they are, right? And we definitely spend a lot of time within the entrepreneurial world. So we got a lot of that. So I don't know, hopefully we say something here that one of our clients says, wow, I got some of that liquid laying around. Maybe I'll go get myself some Chick Fil A's and or look into a Bojangles.
Oh, at the very least, all our clients can afford a Subway. It's only $80K net worth that you need.
Oh, man.
Which is why you see those families who own like 400 Subways because the barrier of entry is so low.
And
You
we do
only
have
need
a friend who owns
80K.
400 Subways.
Yeah, you only need $80,000.
But that's really nice because that means that would explain too, knowing the people that we're referring to, they built it from nothing. So I think maybe Subway allows you to build things from nothing, right? Whereas Wendy's sounds like you better
5 million. I don't
You better
get
be
that.
the actual Burger King in order to have a Wendy's burger restaurant. Okay, it's tough. Speaking of fast food, dude, I got some things for y'all. Okay, I got some fire today. Do you remember McMillions, the Monopoly game that McDonald's had going on? Do you remember that?
Yep.
In high school.
Monopoly, McDonald's Monopoly.
I actually have an incredible story about this that I haven't even told you guys. In high school, there was this friend of ours, and I knew this kid from middle school. And in senior year, this guy, I walk into the hall and I see him, and I go, "Bud, why do you look so down?" He looked like his cat had died, his grandma left him, and his house burned down. And he goes, "I lost my piece. That would have been the third or whatever fourth piece to get a black Batman themed Maserati."
Damn.
Okay. This kid, you have to really picture an 18-year-old kid who legitimately thought that he had won a Maserati and then lost a tile and now saw himself one little, they must have been maybe one square inch away from actually buying probably his dream car at the time and even now. It was all a lie, man. He shouldn't have been sad. He should have been happy. You should have been fine, man. I'll go by his initials, SF. You should have been fine. You had better things to look forward to in your life. Turns out it was all a scam. It was all a scam. And I got my scam face on because I don't like scams, okay? If you tell me I'm going to win a Maserati, at least keep the secret alive, okay? At least, if you're scamming, at least don't let me know. But we found out HBO is making a documentary. It just released it. It's called McMillions. And the story is fascinating, okay? So apparently, in the, there were many levels of prizes. You could win from free fries to a Maserati to a $250,000 to $1 million. And what was absolutely insane is that there was the following going on. With prices above $25,000 of value, there was a ring, a conspiracy ring that is investigated by the FBI, that has been well reported on by some of the highest levels of media. But literally, FBI agents who had to investigate this from the Jacksonville head of FBI, there was a link and a ring of the Colombo cartel, a shadowy figure named Uncle Jerry, quote unquote. They put it in there. It was dramatic. This man, Uncle Jerry, was sourcing and stealing the prizes that were being manufactured. So that Maserati was on a line somewhere, and as soon as it came off the line, he worked with a mafia cartel and the manufacturer and I guess this uncle, and would steal these things in the manufacturing process and give it to his family and friends.
Good Lord.
Wow.
So somebody out there is driving around in that Batman Maserati that made that poor child cry. Yes, it was never meant to go into your hands, SF.
Wait. Here's where I'm confused. So
Correct.
the
Go.
prices were real, but they were just being stolen?
They were being stolen.
Okay, but you could have won a Maserati.
Well, no, because from right from the beginning, he was already taking everything. No, never, not once in the entire history of the Monopoly game at McDonald's did a prize over $25,000 actually get received by a quote unquote honest winner.
That doesn't. So then why get a Maserati? Like, if you're McDonald's, why would you get the Maserati to give out if it was rigged so that no one would ever win?
Oh, well, McDonald's corporate not fully aware of this.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, somebody
Okay.
worked into there was an executive in McDonald's that's involved, and you can really get the full scoop if you watch the documentary, but there was an executive at McDonald's involved with the Colombo cartel, with the shadowy figure, who I don't have the real name for, and I'm telling you, it's a cluster. It's a cluster of people just living that McDonald's life, and I wonder to myself, why don't I have an Uncle Jerry?
Mm-hmm.
That would have been just fine if we had an Uncle Jerry.
Damn.
What you got over there?
We're certain that there's probably somewhere in a mandate that if a documentary ever reaches out to us, it's an automatic no, said a McDonald's representative. Reached out by the documentary.
Absolutely. So Carlos is saying that the McDonald's, obviously, whenever they get whenever McDonald's receives a request for a documentary, at this point they say no.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because, I'm sorry, but it all started with Super Size Me. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Founder. It is not good.
No one's ever done a positive.
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, Big Pharma is about as far as ethics goes, and many other things, much like other large companies where things kind of get out of hand. You're not talking about anything much more honest than, the worst of the worst. You're talking about tobacco. You're talking about getting things in people's hands, and on a fitness note, getting things in people's hands that will make them want to finish it and have some more. Okay, that's how I saw a meme the other day that said, if you eat an Oreo, please enjoy it, but remember the game that you're playing. That Oreo was created not for you to eat one Oreo, it was created for you to kill the entire pack.
To eat all the
They were
Oreos.
sitting there in meetings, just like your favorite people, your favorite celebrities, just like all their social medias do very specific things. You're like, oh, they're so smart. No, there's a team. There's a team designing that. And just like there's a team in social media, there is a team in craveability, snackability, and those are just fancy words for how addicted I can get to something, okay?
And convenience.
Convenience.
'Cause,
Convenience is huge.
If everyone wants to do negative documentaries about McDonald's and throw them under the bus, I mean, let them. I get it. But I love my McDonald's, man. Every morning I'm at McDonald's. I get that coffee, I get the oatmeal, and I'm out the door.
What I will say is that's also what's impressive. I mean, you're going to McDonald's for probably the least McDonald's-like things in the world. It's coffee and oatmeal,
Yeah.
but that convenience
True
is
that.
enough for you to say, and we say this around here a lot, like, there are things that we like, let's say even just meat eating, being a carnivore, that we like it, but we know it's not the best thing for the planet or for our bodies, so we try to limit those things, right? But they're ingrained. They're ingrained, and that's why, sorry, Super Size Me, sorry, The Founder, sorry, other films like it. There's a couple more that I can't think of right now, but God, those chicken nuggets apparently just overcome whatever
They're so
whatever is
delicious.
happening is just totally overcome. Doesn't matter how many sweatshops it took to make those fries, as long as those chicken nuggets came out in the same package.
Oh yeah, I do.
So are you getting $1 off on your coffee every morning on the app?
There's an app?
There's an app that gives you $1 off on the coffee every
Nah,
morning.
man,
McDonald's.
I'm not taking advantage of any of these
Dang.
apps.
So you're
like
gonna-
like Jocelyn, who always uses she's always getting free stuff from Chick Fil A.
This is one
I
of our
have
trainers.
no idea how to use any of that. I'm just like, here's
Daniel,
my credit
our
card.
resident
Just give me the
30-year-old,
chicken.
88-year-old. Hey, just give me the chicken. Not only that, I'll take it this way. You're going to pay that extra $1 in case there were any sweatshops involved.
Exactly.
That is your penance. Sure, you're profiting them, but what you going to do?
That's my guilt insurance. $1.
Guilt insurance.
Uh-huh.
It's a guilt tax. It's a guilt tax. Well, you heard it here. If you don't want to pay a guilt tax, get the app. Get the app to get $1 off of that McDonald's
Boom.
coffee every single morning. But just remember, don't play the Monopoly game because they'll probably bring it back anyway.
They'll steal your Maserati.
Yeah, HBO documentary and all. So let's move on from there. We've got some really awesome things coming up right here. We've been talking about coronavirus, since the beginning of the show. Even in our vaulted first episode that you may or may never hear. I don't know. You might have to talk to your plug. Cathay Pacific. Okay, now. I know Cathay Pacific is not something you've ever flown on. It's not an airline you've ever heard of, but it's only because we're on the wrong side of the world. And we do have a nice applicable American Airlines theme to this. But let's start with Cathay Pacific. We were talking last time about the financial effect that coronavirus is having on industries that you might not even think of. Now obviously everybody's talking about these cruise liners, but what we last time we did some math. And cruise liners, with the thousands of people that they have on board, which I was not aware of. I did not know these were small cities floating around. I haven't been on a cruise. I'm sorry, I'm ignorant. But you were talking about $4 million lost per voyage because you have thousands of people paying about $500 a stay. And it's a huge lost amount of revenue.
I think it was 7,000 people.
7,000 people, right? We had worked it out. 7,000 people, I remember now, $570 a person pretty much on
Something like
average.
that. Uh-huh.
Cathay Pacific, which is an airline on that side of the world, has asked its 27,000 employees to take 3 weeks of unpaid leave due to coronavirus.
They're asking them to participate. They don't have to, but it's called a special leave scheme.
The special leave scheme. Why would you call it a scheme? Why would you call it a scheme? So, if you didn't hear that,
All employees have the option to take 3 weeks of unpaid leave
all
in this period.
I'm sorry. All of the employees have the option to take the 27,000 employees have an option to take a 3-week unpaid leave. So if you've been stacking vacation days and you've been stacking a bunch of money in your, I guess it's good news for you, right? All I know is that is an insane amount of people who are affected, of a company that clearly, I mean, if you're asking for that, you're in dire trouble. And that's also probably why they're Cathay Pacific, right? I mean, maybe they're not, sorry, I'm fairly sure that 27,000 is a small number compared to a really large companies like United, like Arab Emirates, like
There's
American Airlines.
United, Delta, American Airlines, they've all halted flights to China until late April.
And so similarly to those, the airline industry is already one of those places where it's normal to lose money. Whenever I've looked into the numbers in the airline industry, yeah, we get frustrated because the prices go up, but the reality is that putting a couple hundred people in the air, and giving them options on seats and options on flights and having numerous flights going to places whether it's filled or not, is not really the most productive business model. These are just massive companies that have been around for a long time, so they can leverage these things.
It's about volume.
Correct. Yes.
It's all about
just
volume.
It would be almost impossible to start your little airline. It's almost impossible to fail your enormous airline. But yeah, I mean, if you're talking about, thankfully, when you're talking about American, United, and all these things that are American based, hopefully you're talking about a small sector of what they do, right? There's flights all over the world, but the problem is that even on the flights that aren't going to China, a lot of times we're going somewhere else and then going to China. So you're talking about the ones that obviously aren't leaving from Dallas-Fort Worth, obviously aren't leaving from Intercontinental, but you're also talking about the ones that aren't leaving from Spain, following on from Europe, following on from Africa, following on from wherever, Thailand, Hawaii, whatever the other little stops on the way might be.
Mm-hmm.
So just a little bit dangerous how it's affecting the economy without it even being, that direct. Even if you're not Cathay Pacific, you're still getting hit. Cathay Pacific. Even if you're Cathay Pacific, you're not escaping. Or even if you're Cathay Pacific, you're not escaping. And if you're somebody else, even the big ones, you're still in a big amount of danger, and it's affecting you in deep layers of consequences.
Another one of the big tourist industries that's taken a huge hit is hotels. So there are a lot of major American hotel chains in China, and right now those hotels are sitting vacant. They're just sitting empty, and every day they're losing money just because there's no one flying there. There's no one flying into China for them to fill up these rooms. So they're losing.
Let's hope it's like the movie industry, where somehow there are still these giant movie theaters open and sitting there empty day after day, and yet we're years into it and it's still happening. Or these be retail spaces, right? Hopefully they can survive long enough. Well, I'm fairly sure they'll survive long enough, but they won't do it without some scrapes and bruises.
Yeah, they're going to be fine. They're just taking hits right now.
Who I'm actually really worried about is Chinatown.
Oh, in Houston.
That's who I'm actually really worried about. Either way, a lot of myths out there, killing a lot of family-owned businesses. I know what it would be like here if all of a sudden we started operating at 25% of what we were operating at. It would be absolutely terrifying. And, we encourage people to, be cautious, sure. But remember that things like coronavirus are in the scale of, now, yes, there's some underreporting that has been, everybody is sitting here saying we're kind of flying blind. We really don't know what the reported numbers are, so this could be so much worse than it is. But even when you're looking at it as much worse than what's reported, you're still talking about the levels of deaths, and this is when you're looking at CDC reports. It's at the same level as in mortality rate as that highly severe cold being passed from person to person at the moment that we're at right now.
Right.
You're talking about something that is significantly more fatal than the flu, which I had last week for the first time. Never had that before. Had a flu shot, still got it. So let us be the first person, and from what I understood, it could have been worse if I didn't get that flu shot. So let me, first of all, be the first person to hear it from here. Just get your flu shot. Be more worried about the flu than you are worried about any sort of, Modelo Bud Light virus. Make sure that your perspective is where it needs to be. And let me tell you, if it could have been worse than what it was last week for me without the flu shot, please get your flu shot. You don't want no part of that, Bobby. Okay?
Get out of here,
No
Bobby.
part of that. Get out of here with that. Okay. Are we good on Corona? Should we get some Coronas? Okay, good.
And Lyme disease, as that kid says.
Daniel hit us with a joke. It's good. It's a little inappropriate, but hopefully people won't mind. We do talk from people who are 20 to 80 years old, and I think our humor is what brings us together. Everybody's invited to this funny party. Go ahead, Daniel.
Well, if you get the coronavirus, you may as well also get Lyme disease, because Coronas don't go without Lymes.
Coronas don't go without Lymes. Actually, I heard about this one guy in England who refused. He's kind of like you. He's not about not shots, but he's not about taking Tylenols when his head hurts and doing whatever, right?
Yeah.
So this guy said, I'm refusing medical treatment. I'm going to drink whiskey and lemon. And the dude is still kicking around Corona free. So, please remember, general population versus the, in the nice way, freaks. Don't go by one report when you can go by the realities of influenza. But yeah, get a little lime in there, okay? Awesome stuff here. I hope you enjoyed our business section. It is one of our favorite sections to do. Oh wait, I lied to you. Pop culture's our favorite section, and it's here right now. Welcome to Pop Culture here on the Catchup. I got a hot one to talk about right now. We're not hugely political around here, okay? Right? I mean, we're not over here, waving flags that to assert our authority.
We're not MAGA.
We're not wearing MAGA hats. We're not wearing math hats. We're not wearing Yang Gang hats. He's out now. But so we're not out here going too hard on anything. But I thought it was worth bringing it up because, the president of our United States, he brought it up on Twitter. Universal Studios and Blumhouse Pictures, the people behind, Blumhouse specifically, behind the Purge movies, Halloween, Paranormal Activity, some of your favorite horror movies have come up with a new movie for you. It's called The Hunt, and it's about extremely wealthy, liberal, conservative, kind of like the Get Out premise, right? Where you have this incredibly wealthy family.
It's like Get Out and The Purge
combined. Yeah, it is like Get Out and The Purge combined. Extremely wealthy, liberal families kidnapping and hunting conservative supporters. Now, a la Trump, of course, he said, these people are the true racists. I do not condone this. He thinks they are the ones who are ripping off the moral fabric of America. What I think is funny is that, because that is, you don't have to jump too far to see whether it's good to hunt people. But what I can say is the writers of the movie, he said, I quote, "This is not a controversial movie."
He's like, this is reality.
This is
my life.
This isn't controversial at all, which is just shocking to me. If we have reached a place where a movie like that is not a controversial movie, I mean, regardless of your political affiliations, you don't have to even watch the movie to say that's a controversial. The Joker was supposedly a controversial movie, and I feel like that was less controversial than this is. It's a little stressful. It's a little stressful to think about that. When it comes out, I'm sure we'll watch it, but I can tell you right now, it is controversial, and we're talking about it right now, and we do think that, or at least I think, let me not speak for you here, but I do think that, if you're setting out to not who is this guy? Who is he to think that's not controversial? Like, how controversial are you, or that level of controversy is what you refer to as that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do feel that they are the true racists, don't watch it. If you do want to find out whether it's controversial, whether that guy, maybe it's just people having tea. Maybe they're hunting the perfect tea leaf.
Probably not, though.
That could happen.
It says that we think the movie may actually, ironically, bring people together.
The movie may actually, ironically, bring people together. See, if your statements are, this is not a controversial movie, we think it'll actually, ironically, bring people together. If you have to use actually and ironically to make your statement, you're already, well, if you started there, you're not in a good place. You're not in a good place.
I don't think so.
What is that guy's name, Carlos? What's that producer's name, that director's name?
Well, something Blum.
No, that's Blumhouse. Blumhouse is the production company, right?
We got Lindelof. Last name is Lindelof.
Last name is Lindelof, the director's name. So you've got a guy out there pushing his movie. What you gonna do? Okay, nothing hateful about that. Let's move on.
Co-writer Damon Lindelof.
I lied. Let's not move on. Okay, now let's move on. So last time we were talking, we talked about the Bezos. Big, obviously, if you're in business and you don't think Jeff Bezos is at least impressive, I don't know, I'm not exactly sure who you are, but he does get embroiled in some interesting things, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the state of capitalism, guys. All I'll say is he made $13 million in 5 minutes.
Billion with a B.
$1 billion in 5 minutes. And that man, I do have, it's burgeoning. It's starting as nothing, but I think it will become Bezos Watch for all of you listeners. But I keep an eye on Mr. Bezos and his activities.
And he just bought the most expensive house
that's right,
in Los Angeles.
$165 million. It's the Warner estate. He just bought a $165 million mansion. Mm-hmm. He doesn't seem to be slowed down by any of his DPs.
The 160 million
yes
is 0.8% of 1% of his net worth.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Well, that reminds me of it was back when Bill Gates was the richest man, and they, wherever I think he was at 69 billion at the time, and they said that the average American compared to Bill Gates, for the average American to find a $20 bill, the equivalent of that in Bill Gates' world would be for him to open his jacket and find $12 million in cash. So you're talking about something that's even hard to conceptualize.
Yeah.
Right? $12 million in your pocket, I would feel awesome. But we're not there yet. Maybe someday. Yes, someday. That's right. That's why we're here working every gosh darn day.
Boom.
Boom. So, we'll keep an eye on this. But what I was saying was my Bezos Watch tells me I'm not sure who's running Amazon. The packages arrive on time. Everything's great. So I don't think it's hurting the company at all. But this man is in Paris Fashion Week, Saint-Tropez. He was at the NFL draft a couple months ago. He recently was right now at the Oscars. Chris Rock roasted him. It was hilarious. My favorite joke there for sure was, when Jeff Bezos writes a check, the bank bounces. And that's, if you're going to roast somebody, keep it easy. As Steve Martin, who was with Chris Rock, said, I'm not going to say anything because I'd still like my packages to arrive on time. But I mean, this is a guy who's clearly loving life, doing everything he wants to do, and that company is still taking
living his best life. He's
That's
chilling.
right. That's right. Yeah, that's the dream, y'all. But with all that travel, let's bring it back to the reality, which is the world continues on a non-business aspect with some coronavirus. So let's keep Corona Watch 2020 going here, and I can speak with full authority since I had the flu last week. I think that gives me some sort of level of accreditation. Let's talk about the cruise ships. We like talking about the cruise ships here, okay? It seems like if you're on a cruise ship, you're screwed, either way, okay? Because let's talk about two ships. So there's one called the Diamond Princess, and there's one called the Westerland. And one is from Holland, and the other one is a Chinese-based Hong Kong cruise line. And what is incredible is the one from Holland has been to 5 different ports and gets rejected at each single port, which, I mean, this is something that takes a long time to travel from country to country, and then it takes a long time to get, issue the orders and then get the response from the country. So you're talking about people who are stuck, quarantined in their rooms for days on end. Excuse us, we're still coughing here. For days on end, as they find where they can actually get off of a ship, disboard, deboard, I don't know, waterboard. So these poor people are stuck. Let's talk about the Diamond Princess. They're stuck outside of Hong Kong. They're at the dock. They can't obviously deboard. They are quarantined inside of their rooms, and they have 100 of the 2,700 passengers. They have 174 cases confirmed on board, which is terrifying.
Another thing that's horrible is a lot of these people are losing their jobs because their employers don't know how long they're going to be stuck on the ships, so they're having to replace them.
That's so real. You're getting replaced, which is like the worst thing that could happen to you besides getting quarantined on it. It's one of the worst things that could happen on a cruise ship. It would be quite an irony.
Yep.
To be relaxing but losing your job while you were trying to relax.
Your whole life.
Your whole life has been upended when you took on that Groupon deal. So that Groupon cruise, and you said, this sounds like a good idea. And life had other plans. So the Diamond Princess, that's the terrifying reality. But this other one that we're talking about, the Westerland, is riding around 5 different countries. It stopped by the Philippines. It stopped by Laos. It stopped by Thailand and some other place. And they told them, yeah, no, thank you so much. Please keep going. Finally, Cambodia has let them dock, and they will deboard in Cambodia.
Cambodia.
Go Cambodia. Go Cambodia. These people had 0 confirmed cases on board. So that's what I really wanted to get at. I mean, they're getting turned away just from the possible chance, even though there's nobody confirmed on board that actually is carrying the virus. It doesn't matter to these governments. They are not letting anybody come on off of there. Okay,
They're
and that's
freaked.
I understand that from a public health and security standpoint, but that really sucks as a cruise line rider. It doesn't make me want to go live on a cruise at all. I know you've done a few cruises.
I've been
right?
on a few, yeah.
I've been on a few. Are you a cruise connoisseur?
I wouldn't say that. No,
Okay.
they're not that much fun to me.
I love cruises.
Carlos,
It's
unpopular opinion, liking cruises. No big deal here.
It's such a weird irony to be out in the vast, endless ocean in a pool.
Yeah,
You know?
okay, yeah. In a world, we're millennials here, and organic rings true even in that situation. I'd rather be in the ocean if it's right there endlessly, and honestly, I'd rather be in the pool if I'm on the cruise ship. But maybe go somewhere else and get in the ocean, right? Maybe not in the middle of the vast ocean. But yeah, these are the things that you have to consider these days as you travel. So let's move on from there. Still on the Coronas, on the Corona. It's unfortunate that it always sounds like we're just going to relax and have a beer when we're talking about this. It is not conducive at all to the actual situation. Coronavirus expert. Okay, so we're talking about the head of pathology at the University of Hong Kong. Good news. Okay, some good news. This is a man who deeply studied the SARS pathogen back in 2002 and 2003. And he's saying we've got about 6 months of this ahead. Now, a lot can happen in 6 months. I know already the numbers that we've seen here in February should have been, according to the quote-unquote timeline, we should have been in March. Okay, so we're way ahead of schedule here. So things can happen in these months. But he's saying that we got about 6 months of this run left, okay? So why? It's because coronavirus, actually much interestingly, like Corona, the actual beer, wow, this is a great tangent I just popped onto. Corona should not be in the sun. And one of the reasons that people say that the beer is quote unquote skunky is because they do it in a white glass instead of a green glass that breaks sunlight. So that's why sometimes you open up that Corona and it has a skunky taste. Much like its beer counterpart. Corona does not like, the coronavirus does not like the sun. COVID one. Does not like, that's the official Scientologist. That's the original Scientologistific denomination for that virus. So, doesn't like the sun, doesn't like humidity, it doesn't like any sort of hot weather or
sunlight, temperature, or humidity.
Sunlight, temperature, or humidity. Okay, so what does that mean?
How the hell is it thriving on cruise ships?
How the hell is it thriving on cruise ships? Listen here, Dr. Collins. You're saying some things, but it's not making logical sense. Okay, my friend? Get these things together.
Yeah.
All right, all I know is that this man, who could be complete fake news now that we're analyzing it here in our laboratory, this guy is saying that in about 6 months, because of the fact that coronavirus, the virus can't exist in temperatures of 86 degrees and up, so 86 degrees being the point of deactivation, that we should see it go out by the summer. Now, I hope this man is right, but at the same time, who knows, man?
Who knows?
I'm over here still coughing, so I don't know what to tell you. I'm wary. I'm keeping an eye out. I don't have a mask, but even if I do go to Chinatown, which I'm down. Somebody invited me to dim sum last week, but the only reason I didn't go is because I literally had the flu. So I was worried about Chinatown.
You would have infected them with
I was
the
worried
corona.
about how I would affect Chinatown, not how Chinatown would affect me. I mean, the reality is, maybe after this, just to spite the haters, I'll go get some dim sum. Maybe some pho. Let's keep it a little like warm hug. It's a warm hug when you eat some pho. If you haven't had pho, what are you doing? Okay, and that is a Vietnamese soup. Simply Pho is amazing. What are your favorite ones? Let's do a shout out to Chinatown right now. What are some of your hot spots?
Isn't it Pho 19? Isn't that something that's supposed to be good?
That sounds like
Which one?
Pho 19 with a number.
Pho 19. Isn't that 59?
Pho 21.
Pho 21. So one of the numbers. Pho 21
Pho
from
Bin by
Carlos.
Night.
Pho Bin by Night is a
Supposed to
wonderful
be,
place.
yeah.
Bin by Night, B-I-N. Simply Pho is
That's
amazing.
my favorite.
If you're sick, if you're sick, there's really nothing better than putting a little Simply Pho.
Yeah, those egg rolls
inside.
there.
Yeah, the egg
those
rolls are
crunchy
incredible.
egg rolls are delicious.
Now, of course, you do this only when you're sick. You should not be pounding egg rolls and salty, fatty soups all the time. But once in a while, when you're dying, have a little bit of that juice.
You might die anyway.
You might die anyway. So, wow, perfect topic to end on. perfect soundbite to end on. You might die anyway. So before you die, we'll go ahead and tell you, that was our pop culture section, and we like to end our pop culture sections with a content recommendation. So what should you be watching? What are we watching, and what should you be watching? Like we said, are the people who we serve, the people who listen to us, they're of all different ages and they're of all different types and tastes. But sometimes there's just, and I don't think it's The Hunt that brings people together. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that movie. But there are some movies out there that bring people together. And I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to give it as my content rec because you already watched it, Daniel, and you said it was fire.
It was very good.
And apparently a lot of people agree with you. 4 Oscars. Bong Joon-ho is the director. And there was a great little bite there, little video bite there at the Oscars. That if you didn't watch it, you got to watch it. It's they started turning off the lights. What the producer spoke.
What's the name of the movie?
It's called Parasite.
Yep.
It's called Parasite. Don't let me run without telling you. It's called Parasite. If you haven't watched it, Parasite by Bong Joon-ho is the director. He's absolutely fire right now. This is the first Asian director who has received these many Oscars. And you're talking about a very interesting plot about 2 families, one extremely wealthy and one extremely broke.
Not wealthy.
Broke is the word, yeah. And how they work together. The broke family provides services for the kids and the lifestyle of the very wealthy family, and then.
But there's a lot of plot twists in there. Like
yeah,
the wealthy
I'm
family
here
doesn't know that the poor people are a family.
Oh,
yeah, they go undercover, hence the name. Parasite.
Okay. So tons of spoilers here already, and there is a parasite, a person who is a parasite, correct? Or is it you can't even. I gotta
spoiler
watch it.
alert. The family is the parasite because they're essentially infiltrating the rich family.
Ooh.
Yeah. So the brother's like, oh, you need someone to help your little son with his art. I know the perfect girl who's like an art psychologist. It's his sister, right?
All right.
And then the dad's like, man, I need a new driver. And then the sister's like, oh, you need someone who can drive you around? I know a dude from
Mario
back in the
Andretti.
day. And then it's the dad. So they're infiltrating. They're being parasitic.
I love it. I love it. This is that thick plot that I like to look for.
But you have to be willing to read subtitles. So be ready for that.
I'm a subtitle guy.
Yeah, so
I'm
be ready
subs,
for
not dubs. Okay, and if you know what that's about, then you know what I mean.
Sub life.
And you're in it. I'm all about that sub life. So I'll watch a movie with subtitles. If you're not, get out of your comfort zone, man. Read a little.
Yeah.
Read a little.
Or listen.
Or
audiobooks.
listen.
There's nothing wrong with audiobooks.
Or learn. Or learn the language.
Yeah.
Get a Rosetta Stone, dude. Stop being so lazy. Okay, so these are hot. That's my hot content rec. I'll be watching it this weekend. Hopefully, I can talk to to our listeners, talk to my clients, talk to the people that I see out throughout the week. Talk about it, right? Watch it. See what we can discuss. Let's make a smart conversation. Daniel, what do you got for the content rec? What's your guess of what people should be watching?
What they should be watching, I don't know.
Well, what are you watching? And of course, with your PhD in opinionology, what should they be watching?
I haven't watched anything, but I finished the Elon Musk book last
That's
week.
right, the autobiography. Well, not autobiography, just the biography.
Just biography.
And
yeah.
that is
It was
Elon
about him.
Musk's newest biography on Amazon, and you can get it on Amazon for your Kindle or for your iPhone or whatever you may
Audible.
have. On Audible.
Yep.
Okay, so you did audiobook.
I did audiobook.
So if you like audiobooks, Daniel's a big audiobook guy. I dabble. But anyway, that was a good one, and it was from our first Vaulted episode, so we might as well talk about it here. But go on, Daniel. What were you going to hit him with?
And the latest is another audiobook. It's called Jim Simmons, The Man Who Solved the Markets, and it's this guy who runs one of the largest hedge funds in the world called Renaissance Technologies, and he was a mathematician by trade.
Okay.
And then he started noticing patterns in the markets, and he's like, I can make money. And he ended up making a shitload of money, and he built these algorithms, and unlike other hedge funds which have thousands and thousands of employees, his only has, it's something like 103 employees because it's mainly computers trading, and so
it's mainly computers.
It's
doing
about him and his life and how he kind of had a hard time and lost some, a lot of relationships building this company and blah blah, and it's a really good one, and that's the one that I'm listening to right now. It's really good. If you're into markets and success stories and that kind of stuff,
Repeat the name of it again?
Jim Simmons, The Man Who Solved the Market. Jim
Simmons, The Man Who Solved the Market. So you heard about that here. Yes, we're going to give you some video content, and we'll give you the thank goodness Daniel is here to make us, smarter with books instead of with all these. I'm going to send people to the fat Jewish on Instagram. Like that's the best. That's the
It's
best.
funny junk.
That's the You're gonna go. I got some great Reddit comedy content for you guys to watch.
Hell,
Now that
man,
I'm hot
Reddit's
on
got
Reddit.
some really
Reddit
great
is
stuff.
hot, guys.
Reddit's
If
got
you're
some
not-
really
yeah.
good stuff.
And Reddit is really a great thing that we use here on the podcast because that news section really keeps us updated. It comes from all over the
yeah.
web. So
Great resource.
stay updated, stay interested, keep your brain on high. Okay, if you're sitting there and you're not reading and you're not progressing and you're not and when sometimes it's good to watch some silly need to be mindful for it content. But if you're not out there kind of expanding your ideas, you're going to lose out. So try to take our advice. Hopefully it's good. Let us know if you like the stuff that we suggest. And in general, we have reached the end of the podcast. Let us know if you liked it. Like it, subscribe, YouTube. Find us on all of our other channels. We're still working on getting ourselves up. We just added a video component to today's podcast. We're expanding it. We're growing it. We're We're Forbesing it. We're Fortune 500ing it. We're inking it. I got nothing else. We're doing a lot of things with it. So let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't like. Again, if you like it, leave us a review. Subscribe. If you have something you don't like and you want something different or you want to hear about things that we're not talking about, write us at info@pledgetofitness.com. That way we can give you what you want. That's what we're really here for. So for myself here at Pledge to Fitness and the Catchup and Daniel. Yo. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. We'll be here every week as long as I stop getting the flu. We will see you here next week, next Friday. Get ready for some more hot content, some more follow-up. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Adios.